got this video of Rotimi exposes sex culture and witchcraft in the music industry in Hollywood. Pretty much, I saw a clip of him talking about like sex and stuff and how it's like overrated, and he's literally a celebrity. Like this guy, I recognize his face from Power. Most of you guys will probably recognize him from Power. So that's what drew my attention to this, and I'm clicking on this other podcast that he got going on. I want to see how he think because the other clip caught my attention, so we're gonna react to it today. Make sure y'all drop a like, comment, and sub. By the way, almost at 1,000 subscribers.
Do juju, all of that is a real thing.
To get to the next level in career.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
She didn't sacrifice herself with witchcraft. They funnel millions of dollars to put this in your face and make you think whatever you're watching is your choice. That scares.
It's almost getting normalized to see these women be naked in front of us.
Yeah.
Let's get you in this, get you next to this woman who's
Yeah,
dressing
yeah.
promiscuously,
It's always on
and
social
then let's
media, especially
benefit
on
from the
feed.
trafficking.
Everything now is clout over quality.
I did want to be the guy who had multiple women, who could have sex at will.
Yeah.
My goal was to be an asshole with money.
Yo, you can't do it on your own. Stop trying. Flee and pray. That's the only way.
That was your first time ever being monogamous?
Yes.
Did you have to go through all of that temptation, lust, and type of experience to get to where you're at now?
I had to go through that to be a voice to say.
Before we jump in, let me set the tone for this one. This isn't just another celebrity telling you a story. This is Rotimi talking about what it really took to fight for purity, step into marriage, and navigate spiritual warfare while the whole world is watching. He didn't come to perform, even though he did do a little something special at the end. He came to be honest about temptation, discipline, and the kind of growth needed that doesn't just happen by accident. And honestly, we need more of these types of conversations. That's why we launched the Hardly Initiated community. Find the right people. Description. Let's get it. Welcome to Hardly Initiated. It is your host, Tyshawn Jackson, in the building with my co-host, Ryan Catchings.
Back in the studio, baby. Listen, it's been too many weeks. We got to get it popping now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to be back, y'all. And I told y'all, we back and better than ever. And today, we doing it with a brother. I don't know if y'all seen this brother, how we going to present the brother today. Y'all might learn a different side of this
Correct.
brother.
He already one of their favorites.
Already one of your favorites. He's somewhere floating around your playlist. Somewhere floating around your Amazon Prime, HBO Max. All right, because we in here rocking with one of the most incredible international artists in the world, actors in the world, a father, a husband. We got Rotimi in the
boy,
building.
Power. That's how I
Welcome
go down.
to Hardly Initiated, my
That's
brother.
what I'm saying.
God
Wait a
bless
minute,
y'all,
you know,
man.
Power.
Likewise, man. Glad you're in the studio with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good, bro. It feels
God has been
good.
blessing you, man.
Yes, yes, for a very long time, man. You know, it's beautiful to see that the growth of where I'm at is I'm able to sit at these type of tables now. You know what I mean? Before, like I always had knowledge of certain things, but I always was timid to do it because I personally wasn't ready. So now this validates my elevation, you know, by sitting with you guys, man. So
Wow.
I'm grateful.
Listen,
Wow.
yeah,
That's a high compliment.
Hey, shout out to the initiates. Shout out to all the subscribers because y'all helped us even get in this situation.
That's
Facts.
Because this morning I woke up, I'm talking to my fan, talking to my mom. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, you know Rotimi?
Yeah.
We got Rotimi.
Yeah.
She's like, from Power? That's one of our favorite shows, by the way.
Yeah,
So this feels good, man. This
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
good.
Thank
It does.
And you got some excellent energy, which
Thank you.
I appreciate Tyshawn for getting us, connected.
Yeah.
Because it's, not everybody that you sit down with really brings that godly energy. That
Facts.
hey, I'm really ready to connect
Yes.
and be present with what you got going on energy. So I'm
Fully here.
yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
Thank you.
And for
bro.
y'all that don't know, man, it's one of the most incredible albums that I've heard. It's one of those, like, you just kind of play it. You don't skip nothing. It rocks all the way from the top to the bottom. In my heart, in my veins. We're going to get into some of those
There's no
tracks
skips.
a little bit later and talk about the tour
Yes, sir.
that's coming up. But first, I want the audience to get to know you a bit, because a lot of people don't know that you probably got some game that you can really put us on. Most of our initiates, I would say, they're single, young men and women, looking to get their life right, looking to get deeper in their faith, looking to find a great partner.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They looking for all those things. That's what we want. We want
Yeah.
love. We want marriage. We want to build families,
Yeah.
rebuild a community. We need it.
Yeah.
All right? And it's interesting because you have an incredibly powerful wife.
Yes, yes, yes.
An incredibly powerful wife. And,
Yes,
and you're
bro.
going to get into it
Yeah.
in a minute. But I wanted to pose this to you because we had a conversation with a powerful brother. Shout out to Anthony Philip Mitchell. He came, Philip Anthony Mitchell. He came on a show recently. And we had some deep conversations about relationships, about dating. One in particular about ladies who, once they get deep in a relationship with Christ, what happens is the pool gets a little smaller, right? Of brothers that they could really rock with.
Yeah.
And I remember you in particular, you was telling your story, and your wife, she's already at a certain level.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you was Rotimi.
Yeah, I was Rotimi, yes. I was the Rotimi, yes, sir.
And somehow,
Yeah.
walk me through this, because when you meet your beautiful wife, she's in this place.
Yeah.
What did she see in you?
She saw who I am now 6 years ago. She saw the potential of what I was going to be. She saw the elements of a caring provider who's just well-rounded. And at the time, I didn't see that in myself. I wasn't even trying to see that in myself. And she fell in love with...
The ancient Egyptians understood that they could use sound to reduce their weight.
The level of what I was, but she loved the level that I was, but fell in love with who she knew I was going to be, which I am today. And so, again, women that are in the spirit have that foresight, man. They have that intuition, and the Holy Spirit just walks through them, you know, and they have the ear of God. And sometimes, and she wasn't a saint either, you know what I mean? She's another chosen one, but she had to surrender, and she surrendered before I did, you know. And so when she surrendered, she was like, there's something about this man that I'm supposed to connect with. And so funny, like, she's from Tanzania. So when we saw each other, you know, it was like we linked, and then it became a long distance relationship. And she was like, I'm overstressed, because she's also an artist. So she's like, I'm overstressed. I hate this industry. I don't want to do this anymore. I was like, yo, just come kick it for 3-4 days. You know, just come hang out with me for 3-4 days. I think you need that break. And she was like, okay. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll get your ticket. You know, she's like, no, I'll get my ticket. Don't worry about that. This is somebody flying from Tanzania.
That's a green flag.
Yeah. I said, you have money now. You have money now, you know. Okay. You know, but no, and come to find out, at the time, she really didn't have that much. Because she's one of those Kanye West type of put all the money in as an artist and just hoping, you know, like just fully just go in. And she didn't have that much left at that particular time.
Wow.
So she kind of bet the bottom dollar, you know, on me, and she got here, and it was just infectious, bro. And you know, we both grew spiritually together and to where we are now. But
What the hell? That's crazy. You just said that. It's like infectious. I was reading 48 Laws of Power last night, and it was like one like part of the text. It was saying how the people you hang around with, if it's infectious towards you. If you hang out with bad people, their bad habits rub off on you. If you hang out with good people, the good rubs off on you, and you got to purposely hang around the good if you want to attract good and get rid of the bad. So his wife's pretty much a good example of being infectious in a positive way. She literally saw 6 years before he became successful that he was going to be successful, and that's crazy, man. That's what he hung around.
she knew, like 2 days in, she was just like, no, this is it. And I was still trying to figure it out. But again, that's just a man being a man in that situation of just, okay, you know. And then I had to recalibrate and say, okay, Ro, how long can you really live this way? You know, and this is before I really found God. It was just the Holy Spirit working through me, and making me think it's me, but it's really not, you know. And then we're having deeper conversations that weren't really earthly, you know, and it just became like 3 days became 2 weeks, 2 weeks became a month, you know. And so it was just different, bro. It was just different. So, yeah.
That's
Makes
incredible.
sense.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. So
Yeah, bro.
given the, how you met your wife,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people say that was pretty risky on her end, because
Yeah.
if you live in, a casual sex lifestyle,
Yeah.
kind of promiscuous lifestyle
Yeah.
in the industry, and she's still like, hey, you know what, let's try to make something work.
Yeah.
Would you personally advise women to take that chance on men that are not necessarily spiritually in the same exact place? And if you would, what should those women be looking for in terms of potential in a man?
I think again, a woman's instinct and intuition is second to none. So I can put it into words, but it's something that they just naturally would know. But a man that has self-respect for himself, a man that exhibits self-awareness, a man that still exhibits mindfulness. I was always doing those things, but I was choosing to do opposite because I wasn't ready. So I always had these characteristics of a kingdom man. Like I always did. I just chose to be a court jester.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So for me, it was like understanding that if a man is naturally just a kind man, if a man is naturally a provider, because sometimes in the healing we need that woman godly energy, and maybe we're moving too fast. There's maybe somebody there to help remind that man of who he is and who he's supposed to be. And I can only speak for myself that she was just like, yo, why would you take this? Why would you choose this? What made you think of this? Do you think that's a good choice? And not telling me don't do this. It's like, take a second. And is that the best thing to do? And it started building more of like accountability. You know what I'm saying? And so, a woman will feel it. She'll know.
Right.
But a man has to have the characteristics of self-awareness, self-mindfulness, a provider, empathetic, kind. There's a lot of things that go into it, but it's levers. He might have all of these, but some are higher than others. You know what I mean? And it's ones we're supposed to do the work ourselves before we get there for real, to bring somebody else in. But if a woman sees that, okay, this is at a 6, but dang, I know he's 10. It's taking that risk,
I totally understand that. And this is kind of a personal question.
Yeah.
Personal for me and now personal for you. So, I'm dating a young lady.
Yeah, bro.
And things are going well. Things are going well. Now, considering where I came from, which was a promiscuous and casual lifestyle, I, at the top of last year's when I really got serious about how I'm going to operate in the date streets.
Yeah.
And, the first, one of a few ladies I was dating,
Yeah.
all of a sudden we dating, pretty seriously.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I struggle with is, kind of determining, is the relationship going this well because I've changed?
Yeah.
Or is the relationship going this well because this is a once in a lifetime, woman? So how do you distinguish, if it's so much you putting in, or is it also them? If that question makes sense.
No, I think as men, we kind of dictate kind of everything. We set the tone for everything, and a woman multiplies it, right? So I think I know the work starts with ourselves, and by you doing that, by you changing your narrative, by you changing the way you think, by you getting closer to God. I always say, like, a man can't just be with a woman forever morally. He can't. Like, the morals gonna change depending on the situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, for me, I stopped trying to just do the right thing because the principle of being a man. Nah, that's finicky. Like, if I see something that's thick and blah, 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 morally, I'm like, I could kick you with it, like, but I ain't do nothing. So
Right.
morally is not really. You start doing that if it's morally. I think kingdom men, bro, if you're able to say, where am I weak at? Where's my healing? Because I don't do certain things because I have a connection to God. I don't want to be away from God. I don't want the repercussions of feeling it. So it's being good to her is the secondary thing. It's not the first. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh yeah, it's my girl. I gotta. No, it's like I have to be okay with the choices I make. I have to know I gotta answer to God. I gotta answer to how I feel in the morning. I gotta answer to by making these decisions. Am I telling God I'm not ready for these blessings? Am I not saying, yo, I'm gonna put you on a tour. I'm gonna delay your tour because I know if you get 30 cities, bro, you're gonna lose your mind. You're not ready for that. So I'm thinking of all of these things of damn, now I'm changing generational legacy. I'm perpetuating generational curses. So it's all of these things of 15, 20 minutes of what that I'm not even gonna enjoy after. I'm gonna be paranoid during the whole situation. I'm gonna
Exactly.
be, shoot, this is I hope she's not crazy. I hope this
Yeah.
dang, how's she gonna be after this? You know, like you're not even there. So for me, it's like, yo, is it really worth it? You know, and so I say all that to say, the healing in you is what changes it, that makes you open to then say, dang, this is somebody that God can trust me with, that that I can have a long life with. Because if you're not ready, and if she's his chosen, he's not gonna link you with her to protect her. You have to do the work, and if she's right for you, which she is at this point, God willing, you know, then you've elevated to then say, okay, that's why this feels like this is forever. You know what I mean? And so it takes the work, bro. Like it takes you. You can't live off of just morals alone.
I love that you said that and how you describe and broke down morals. Because when I speak to brothers, and because of Harley Initiated, man, I get to walk up to people and instantly have some of the realest conversations ever. Instantly. And the brothers that I notice that are faithful in their marriages. Quick intermission. We didn't plan this, but in the middle of our convo with Pastor Philip.
Let's ask for Gutsies of the nation. Top.
Are you advertising your business on YouTube? Yeah, YouTube, right here. And if not, why not? Guys, this is the place where you want.
It's way deeper than that.
Yeah.
They're faithful because they don't want to get right. They don't want to get in a wrong space with God. Like that's their principle.
Yes, bro.
That they're standing on.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with the woman.
No.
In fact, because if that's the case, if the woman changes, all of a sudden my behavior changes. If the woman's gone,
low-key they cooking, bro. They're saying if you're loyal to God, then you don't have to worry about being loyal to her. Most dudes just run off the morals of just being loyal to her, and then they're fighting the whole battle of, damn, the other chick look good, but I ain't do nothing, I ain't cheat. But it's like, if you're loyal to God, you just be thinking about God the whole time. Like, he's the final boss. You're not worried about, damn, she got a fat ass. Like, you worried about God just looking right down at you. Like, what you gonna do, bruh?
behavior changes. It has nothing to do with the woman, or the woman's coming into my kingdom and how I operate.
Absolutely.
And that's what you stand on.
Yeah.
So that's a very big difference. And until a man is able to really get that level, get that standard in his life,
absolutely,
and get aligned in that way, you know, his, like you said, morals, they'll always shake.
They always shake.
And they'll be, you know, you'll be persuaded.
Yeah.
You'll be able to be persuaded and talked out of doing whatever it is you're doing.
You can justify principles. You know what I'm saying? You can justify, like, your principles are different from mine. Your principles are different. Everybody's principles are different. But then in terms of, I keep bringing this word up, kingdom, there's only one way to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I stopped thinking of fear of God, of like, dang, I'm scared of God. No, I was like, fear of God to me means the fear of not having him, yo.
Right.
That, like, the fear of not having him, that scares me because I felt that for so long. I'll make certain, you know, decisions that pull me away for 3-4 days, and I'm like, damn, I feel depleted, yo. Like, and then it's hard to get back into the Bible and reading it and, you know, listening to things. Mm-hmm. I hate that feeling. So like I'm like, this dog, I'm just gonna rock with you. You know what I mean? So
that's the only way.
There you have it. I want to ask this too, because we talked about this a little bit before the show.
Yeah.
I want to know how this works, man, because even when I'm thinking about you being a kingdom man in this, you know, in the entertainment industry, that seems difficult, you know. And you told me prior, you know, your wife walked away from this space. She was one of the biggest artists in her own lane, in her own right, and she walked away. What exactly was the reason she walked away?
Well, she was, okay, so being an African woman and being a successful artist in Africa is like a crazy duality, because in the African culture, women don't really, especially in East Africa, women don't really have a voice too much, right? And so when you're powerful and more powerful than certain men, it can kind of make it be like, if you don't go with anything that they say, she's this, she's that, she's that, she's da 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 da. So, and she didn't sacrifice herself with witchcraft.
Right.
And for real, like
Right.
you know, she's been approached to elevate to the next level.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Oh, that's a real thing, bro. That's a real, like, witchcraft, voodoo, juju, all of that is a real thing.
To get to the next level in career.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
It's a real thing. So she's been presented opportunities like, hey, this is what we do. This is how we move. This is the things that you have to do to get to this level by top execs. And she was like, I'm not with it. And then also she wasn't going to sleep her way to the top. So then it caused her, and she didn't have management really for real. So like she's successful. She's doing all these things. And she's to the point where it's like, I'm drunk, man. I got a drink to get out my head and just find peace. And so, and that with liquor brought depression. So at that point, she was like, this is not me. I love the music, but I hate the business. And she's just like, I can't do it anymore. So that was how she kind of let it go. But yeah, witchcraft, warlocks, and voodoo, juju, black magic, all of that is hyper real. That's what made me even believe more in God.
Right.
You know?
You know, it's so crazy because you get desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Because you'll see like the interviews and there's people telling the stories of
But that's what they
people.
want you to do, though.
Right.
That's the mission. Like the devil, the enemy can't really, he can't lie to you for real. He got to tell you what it is and you choose to believe it or not. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this person drinks goat blood. Yeah. But I told you that it did. And it's not hiding it. It's just, you just desensitized to it that, no, this is a real thing. You know what I mean? So that's just the ways of the devil.
Has it, you know, you still in the industry, so has that caused any friction at all in your, how have you both been able to manage still being able to, you know, be in the entertainment industry and still standing on what you're standing on?
I just do the work, bro. You know what I mean? There's no gimmicks. You know, I don't do things for likes. I do it because this is my purpose. You know what I mean? So like, she knows who I am, so she knows she has nothing to really worry about. You know, so also she knows she has nothing to worry about, but then she also knows that that how the industry is. Like, so she.
Boom. I like what you just said. Basically, he's not doing the things that he does for external validation. He's doing it because it's the right thing to do, and that's what he likes. I think that's real. This video's gotten past 20-minute mark. I'm gonna cut this off and then make it into a multiple part series. I'll probably have to have like 2 more parts after this because I don't want to have 40-minute video on YouTube. That's insane. Go check out my other reaction video if you haven't. I uploaded that. It was about Dan Bilzerian. It was about Dan Bilzerian, and he's speaking about his philosophies of dating with women. Give this video a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want me to react to in the future. Peace. Thank you, guys.